Hi everyone, welcome to the Crash Cinnamon episodes. This is your host McKenna. Today I'm continuing on the topic Things I Now Know. Things I Now Know. This is a part 2 and the end part, and it was really inspired by my birthday, which is coming up in a few weeks' time. And I was thinking, what do I actually now know as an adult, fully grown and adulting out here? Bills and all this, and also just life challenges. So it made me think, what do I really know for sure? And I can say over the last 5-10 years is still true. So what I now know, one of the things, number one for today, is this idea of saving by putting money in the bank. It's a scam, it's a lie, it's a fraud. I am a good saver. Like, those who know me know this, and it only hit me very recently that actually my money has not been working for me. Yes, I have other things I'm doing that could bring me some income other than just my job, but I was like, I could have done a lot more, and there's so much out there. Unfortunately or fortunately, depending on how you want to say it, you have to constantly be researching, be on top of things. There is no billboard somewhere on the road that will tell you this is what you do. That you just have to keep in conversations with people, actually. Keep watching TV. I know TV is not amazing, especially some of the content out there, but there's little things that come up, and there's interviews, there's ads you might see. You're like, oh, okay, that's interesting. There's blogs, there people share things on their social media. So I think that's one of the things I've really loved about social media. It's made me network, know a lot more in terms of what can work for you money wise. So yeah, no more putting money in the bank. The only money that's in my bank now is for bills. That's about it. Everything else, okay, and obviously for you need emergency and stuff like that, but everything else now you make the money work for you, and it's really important because honestly nothing is assured. And even in that make your money work for you, there's risks and everything, but at least it eliminates the fact that your money is in just one pot. It's just in the bank, because the bank, they're using your money, they're making it work for them, so let's get smarter, people. Let's talk, have conversations with people. Ask if you see someone is doing something different, don't be afraid to ask them, okay, so what is this I'm seeing you're into? Get into conversations. And those who are making it, please don't be stingy with information. Let people grow out here. If people are growing, it's more money in your account. You might not see it that way now, but in the long run it will be. So yeah, let us all be help us in this trying to be financially stable out here. The second thing I've come to know is, and I knew this, but now I really know, is you can't be comfortable in employment. And I don't mean that just for the money, but you can think you're making strides, you and your team are going well, but there's always undercurrents, and things can turn on you so quickly. So quickly. Before you know it, you're the one who's been pushed out the door, or somehow your contract has ended, or actually it could be legit reasons, and yeah, you're on a fixed term contract and things that and then something just happens, like a relative gets sick, you have to take care of your mom or dad or your husband or wife, and you'd not anticipated that. So employment is something that should just give you a foundation, but it's not the be all and end all. And also, seeing how COVID has just changed things around, be open to just changing things for yourself. Careers are amazing, however, it doesn't mean you have to be your soul is destroyed in a career that you can't see heads or tails about, you're not happy about. I read something today, and a part of me agrees with it, a part of me doesn't. In fact, the part that doesn't agree is bigger. So it reads that be in a career in love, and then you won't have to hate Mondays. So it's such a simplistic point, yeah, in a way, yes, you will love Mondays because you like going to work and all this. But how do you know that things won't just change? Mondays are affected by many other things, like not having your coffee, your child just decides to be traumatic, and you're having the best job. So it's many things like that. But I understand the essence of it, in the sense that if you love your job, you won't find it difficult. However, sometimes you can love your job and find things difficult because circumstances, laws might change upon you. For example, with how Brexit happened, some companies got affected, so you could be in the best job, but laws change. The company CEO might die, and the one who takes over, so many things can happen. Budget cuts. So what I'm trying to say is, do not just be so comfortable, even with your employees. If you're a hiring person, if you have a business, or even with your colleagues. And I think what I've learned so far is, I'm such a giver. I give information, I find new ways, and it's the best, it's the best thing, because you want to be a contributor to the company, to the organization, to whatever the movement is all about. However, we are all humans. There are people who feel threatened by, okay, this is a bright spark, this one has ideas, I might just curtail them. And sometimes it's good to hide your cards, not just be all out there, because human beings, I don't know what gets into us. Sometimes we just feel we have to undercut somebody. I think essentially, if you work for yourself, and I mean not self-employed, I mean an entrepreneur, there's a big difference. I'll talk about that in another episode. There's a difference between being an entrepreneur and being self-employed. So entrepreneurship is what you want to aim for, like in the long run. So yes, the third thing, marriage is is a very hands-on kind of institution and commitment. It does not mean that now they're innate, you just sit. There's a lot of work you need to put in. And I know people say, if it's something simple, if it's real love and you're with your partners, your friend and all this, it doesn't have to be work. And I don't mean hard work in the sense of you're having to put in hours, but it's in the sense of learning, reinventing, changing things up, seeing what works. Especially as seasons change, don't expect that your marriage or your relationship won't be affected. It will be affected. And I think you need to be that person who says, okay, so this might happen, or this has happened, so how do I react to it? What do I do? And another thing I know now, because I have a child does change the dynamics of a marriage. It does. It just purely does. From who's gonna change the nappies to, I don't want to wake up now, she's been crying for the umpth time. And sometimes because you're tired, you're sleep deprived, you've not eaten properly and all this, it can just rock the boat here and there. So it's just for you to watch out for it, be on the lookout, and see when it gets rough. Just talk about it and be really open. It might sting what mom or dad will say, in the sense of the mom and the dad in the relationship, and as the partner, just hear them out, and the person who's talking, don't yell, don't try and show like you're, I don't know what I can say, but yeah, use very supportive kind of language, and also be open. Be those people who, if you want to be understood, there's no need to be yelling and shouting and accusing. Just express, yeah, you're tired, you'd like this, I'd like some time off to do, just to be by myself and all these things. Can you consider reducing your hours in work so that I can have more support? Talk about those things and talk about your anxieties. And it's not easy, I know for sure. I struggle sometimes to talk to my husband about the things I need, and I just already think in my head he'll just be angry and walk and storm off, and it's not always the case, because at the end of the day, he's my partner and he wants the best for me. So he will listen to what I'll have to say. He will say, okay, how can I help here and there, because of the dynamics of our home. Yeah. So, and all of us are in it for the prosperity of the marriage and the relationship and the family we've built. So have a look at that. And then things I now know is there's textbook parenting and then there's real life parenting. So what I will say, I will not say do you. That's one thing I am stopping to say. In fact, is the next thing. I'm no longer saying the word do you. No, because doing you sometimes is very harmful, sometimes very selfish, sometimes it can be detrimental. So alternatively, what I do these days is I adjust according to the environment. I adjust accordingly, in the sense that if I need more time to do this as a parent, the book has says this is what we're going to do. Okay, what works at the moment is what we use. Okay, and it means for you to research a little bit more excuse me, for you to research a little bit more, for you to have the information so that you can know what to do as a parent. You're the one making decisions for this child as they grow. There's a good saying, there's a good proverb from where I come from, and it says, when the music changes, the dancing, the style has to change, because the beat has changed. So you can't dance in the same way, you'll be out of sync. So as a parent, you have to be prepared for this, and sometimes it's thinking on your feet. And as long as your child is safe, is loved, and they understand this, then you do that, because you're the parent and you're the guardian. And we've been privileged to get that honor to be parents, to take care of another individual. And we don't want to give the society a broken person, a person who can't cook, clean, take care of themselves, doesn't know what discipline is, doesn't know boundaries, because then we're going to be costing our society money, because they'll have to be retraining them in and out of different institutions. So if you have that bigger picture, it will help you in how you do things now. Whether you're a single parent or whether you parent in a unit, that is my take on it. Again, my opinion. Okay. And finally, things I now know. Not finally, really. It's one of the penultimate. Can't talk today. Point is this: it's really important to have a good relationship with your parents or guardians, whatever, especially in your later ages, because it's been so helpful having my parents, just even for not trying to just help with childcare, but there's some things now I can talk to them and say, this is the plan I have, what did you guys do at this time? And I know and I appreciate not everyone has that kind of relationship, but if you can foster it, if they're willing, it's a two-way. I mean, if your family setup is very toxic, it's very harmful, then I'm not saying you should be there, but I'm saying if it's a healthy relationship, then do your most to ensure everything is working as it is. And look out for them, look out for your parents, because there's so many things they're going through now that they made decisions 30 years ago because of you. So they're still, catching up in one way or another. They may not tell you, but you can see it. And we are here to, as their children, to help them a little bit. If it means it's IT things, if it means it's giving up one Saturday to help them with this or the other. I'm not saying it's a must. I'm just saying the same way they've been there for you, sacrificing, it's the same way they might not expect it, but it's a good thing. You're a good human. They raised a good human. So, you're just helping out another human being. Think of it that way. Yeah. And also for the advice and the guidance that they give, it's been so wonderful in my adult life to have my parents and just laugh and joke with them and just get the advice and purely just say, okay, this, I'm talking to another adult. It's not as the way I used to when I was younger. I was thinking, oh my God, these people, so it's good. And the other thing I now know for sure is you don't have to be so hard on yourself when things you've tried, and especially this goes out to people like me who are real planners, who are, they save us, the people who have a plan, they see things ahead, they research and everything, and then it still fails. Try not to be too hard on yourself. And this has been a learning curve this week and last week, where something I had planned and sorted and everything has just backfired massively in my face, and I'm just feeling I've come out undone. And it's, as I'm unraveling, it's just made me think, oh my God, I'm not so used to sometimes things happening, especially the thing that happened was for the first time. I've never gone through it again before, rather, and it's difficult, but I just want to say, try and balance so that if things like that happen, you're not on a downward spiral so much. It will still hurt. You'll still have days you're going through it, you're in your emotions and you're feeling like a failure, you're feeling all kinds of things. But when all is said and done, it was not because you didn't do what you needed to do. It's just life, circumstances. 2 plus 2 sometimes doesn't add up to 4 in real life. In that sense, I'm not saying literally. I mean, I'm saying the sense of you can do everything and still things just don't fall into place. And having to come up with a plan so quickly in a short time it's very nerve-wracking. But lean on people you can trust and they can give you support. If you have a faith, especially for me, I'm a Christian. I just prayed and I just said, oh God, this thing is beyond me. It's way beyond me. It's something I never seen, I envisioned. Help me. And I have to do that every 15 seconds of the day because it's such a huge thing. And I have to really talk. My mental health has been really affected in the last 2 weeks, and I'm just like, God, help me in this thing. And one of the best things, I had a chat with my little brother, and he helped me so much, and I was like, oh, this is my little brother. But the immense support and knowledge he has, you wouldn't think. And it was really nice to have that support, and he's been checking up on me every so often, and it felt really nice. It felt amazing because that those who know me, it's not been like that always in my life. So it's been fantastic to have that support and just see things in another aspect. And I'm trying. Some days I'm like, ooh, this thing is coming close, and it's very difficult when your mind is saying one thing, your heart is saying another, the facts are saying another thing, but you can tell you will get through it. It's just you don't know how, and I think it's the not knowing how that it really ticks at you. So I'm just saying, stick to it, and I'm trying also at this time. This is the time also, your vulnerability, your guard, everything is just whoo. So you have to watch yourself, what you're eating, the thoughts you're having, getting enough rest, what you're saying emotionally. I think sometimes it's also good to just tell somebody if you're going through the biggest thing or smallest thing, whatever you think isn't really unraveling. It's better you speak up and say, okay, I am not sure how I'll be in the next few weeks or wherever until this cloud passes, so bear with me. And obviously if they're in your space, they will know, but never take anything for granted. Don't assume people understand even though they've seen exactly what happened to you. Just say it out there, because in human relationships we have to be responsible for also our communication. Just because, and this is what sometimes I find I'm different with other people. Here's the thing. Just because you've lost a job, for example, lost a relationship, lost money, investment, lost a loved one, don't assume someone will understand that, your emotions at this time could be anything from 0 to 100 in 1 second because of what you're going through. sometimes you have to say it to somebody. I'm not at my best. And especially if you're these people who are always put together and you're strong and everything, sometimes people will be like, oh, she'll get through it. But sometimes it's good to tell people, especially if you know you're unraveling in ways you have never unraveled before. Just send out an alert and say, whoa, there's been an earthquake in my life, and this is how things are, and there's devastation everywhere. There's no lines of communication. I will talk to you whenever I'm ready, So I think that's what's helped me really in my adult life. And and I hope for you all, as you are transitioning through this life, enjoying the trips around the sun, you will just be mindful and kind to yourself and kind to others as we are all making this trip. There is one more thing, especially now with the wars that are happening around the world. I've actually realized a lot of people don't understand what is an asylum seeker, what is a refugee, and why countries have the responsibility to take up refugees and actually not refugees, asylum seekers, and give them refuge. And if they choose, depending on the system, to give them refugee status, then so be it. And I see a lot of propaganda on the news and everything, and I think especially for places where they've really never experienced real war, conflict or anything, it's very difficult to see why we have a responsibility and why we want peace in the world. I know, especially, and this comes down to politics as well, geopolitics, all kinds of politics is played, and that's why I always tell my friends and people, you can never ignore politics, because politics comes and finds you in your house. If you don't vote, you don't get involved, and this is a whole discussion in itself. There's just a way the law will come and make sure you know that because you didn't pay attention, it doesn't mean it's not happening. Okay, so let's just be more aware of the situations of the world and actually actively campaign for things to get better, because whatever happens in Asia, whatever, Europe, Africa, will directly affect you. If you think I'm joking, see how the food aisles in the supermarkets, whenever there's a conflict or a legal situation or countries are not agreeing, what happens first? Food is affected. Basics are affected. Remember in Russia and Ukraine and the whole situation, gas and electricity was affected. So let's be very, very present in the situation, in the lives that we are in, not necessarily in the lives we are in. Yes, we are going through tough times personally in your own lives, but also let's not be so insular. Let us be caring of what's happening in the world. Okay, so thank you for listening to this episode of Crash Cinnamon. See you on the next one.